Today is lecture number 8, okay, Dhamma Group 4.4, Sunday 22nd September 2024. So we did learn this at week number 5. We learned the Dhamma Group 4.1 about Vutti Dhamma, Chakka Dhamma, Akati or the 4 prejudice, and the danger for the new monks. We did discuss in detail about these 4 topics. There are 3 more sessions that need to be covered. So let me show you the headline. So Dhamma Group 4.2 will be talking about the heedfulness or Appamada Dhamma, right effort or Padana Dhamma, and the Atithana Dhamma, the virtue which everyone, both monk and the lay people, should establish in the mind. So today Luang Pi will touch on these 3 as well, but it's in the fast version. Okay, I like to spend time covering the detail of the Dhamma Group 4.4, which is there are a lot of detail on that particular topic. And then the Dhamma Group 4.3 is supposed to be last week. The topic are these 3 topics. The Itipada, which is the 4 part of accomplishment. If one practice all of this, then you're on your way to be success. And the Brahma Vihara, the 4 noble sentiments, and the Dhatukammatthana, another form of meditation practice that mentioned in the elementary level of the Dhamma study. Today we will study another form of meditation as well, which related to Dhatukammatthana. I will walk you through that in a moment. So let me go back. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me fast forward so you see what to expect next. And today, the topic will be the Dhamma Group 4.4. We'll be talking about Dhatukammatthana. You hear the word Kammatthana again. Another form of meditation. And Satippatthanana, the 4 foundation of mindfulness, and the 4 noble truth, the 4 noble truth, the 4 Ariyasacca or the 4 noble truth. That's the topic of today's lecture. But before we get to this, let Luang Pi just recap just a little bit of what we missed in the past 2 weeks. Just get to the point and raise your awareness of how important of this particular Dhamma designed in the elementary level for everyone to study. And as you may know, the Dhamma that teach in the Naktham level, in this elementary level, is only 13 weeks, which we cannot cover everything, as you see in the handbook. This is the book, right? This is in Thai, but the handbook that you have is in English. In that PDF 5, there are more Dhamma than what we learned in this 13 weeks. So you don't have to limit yourself to what we learned here, only 13 weeks. You can study by yourself. And this day is so easy to find information of each Dhamma topic that you are interested. There are many teachers that teach the Dhamma, and including in English as well. So please feel free to study more. The better for yourself to understand the Dhamma of the Buddha. Okay, so let Luang Pi get started. Okay, the heedfulness or Appamada, this is the Pali term. Heedfulness, sometimes they use the word diligence. What's the importance of Appamada? I find it very interesting because at the last teaching of the Buddha, before he passed, the Buddha gave the teaching one statement that reminds us that we should not live life careless. Carelessness or heedfulness is considered as the blueprint of all the Dhamma that the Buddha teach. Imagine that he has been teaching Dhamma 45 years of his life, the moment that he achieved enlightenment, and the moment that he about to enter Nibbana, or in other words, he about to die, he reminds us this sentence, that do not live life carelessly. So there are several meanings that I feel like it's quite deep and it's quite interesting that all of us should pay attention. Here the Buddha said, Bhikkhu, just as the footprint of all livings, being walked fit in that walk on the earth. Okay, elephant considered the biggest elephant that's walk on this planet. the elephant footprint is declared to be the chief among them, okay, compared to all other animal that walk on this planet. His footprint considered the biggest, considered the chief. That is with the size is to whatever wholesome state. They are all root in heedfulness. Coverage upon heedfulness, and heedfulness is declared is the chief among them. You see, this is the key. So heedfulness is the chief among them. What does it mean? This is what it means. In our practice of the Dhamma, our goal of our Buddhists is to realize Nibbana, to get to the top. And it is said there are 84,000 teaching of the Buddha kept in the Buddhist text, which can be divided into 3 baskets: the basket of Vinaya, the basket of the Sutra, and the basket of Abhidhamma. 3 baskets. And all of them, they can be grouped like this. This is the Sila development. This is the Citta development. And this is the Panya development. All of them lead to the same destination, which is realizing Nibbana. And this is what the Buddha means. Heedfulness is the top. Heedfulness is the chief. When one lack of heedfulness, nobody can success in anything in life if you are careless in life. That implies that people lack of sati or mindfulness. Mindfulness and heedfulness go together hand in hand. If you have sati, you are a careful person. If you lack of mindfulness, you can give rise to all unwholesome state of mind all the time. If you see things that you're not supposed to see, you hear things that you're not supposed to see, then you might get distracted by those defilement that arrive. And then you may want to come to meditation, and all of a sudden you look at the television, or there's an interesting show there, just sit there and watch the TV for a moment. Before long, you forget meditation. You just sit there and watching television. That's just a quick example. But here the idea is heedfulness is the top of all the Dhamma that we practice, that the Buddha tried to give us the warning. Don't live life carelessly. If you have time, if you know that, you think that you have faith, you think that your health is still good, why don't you do something good about it? Okay, study Dhamma, practice generosity, go to the temple, practice meditation. It's better than just sitting home and being lazy, because time is running out. People who are aware of this, of time, they will not be careless, because they know time is running out. There's no way that we can kill time. People usually, I have 2 hours to kill. We can't. Instead, time is killing us indiscriminately. Monk and lay people, we get old every breath that we take. The body is getting to the decay every breath that we take. People aware of this, people would do their best to get the most out of their time. So in the Appamada Dhamma, this is the highlight. This is the highlight of this teaching. How do you know? What kind of indicator telling you that I'm not a careless person, I am a careful person? The Buddha gives us the framework. You give up these 4 things. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give up unwholesome bodily action, verbally action, and mental action. Bodily action, kill, lie, sexual misconduct, right? Verbal action, like speak, telling a lie, harsh speech, nonsense speech, and divisive speech. And the unwholesome mental action, think of ill will, resentment, greed, want to take something from someone. Those kind of thinking is considered an unwholesome thinking. And the Buddha add on the last one, which is the wrong will. In fact, human being, we can commit karma 3 ways: through the body, through the mind, body, speech, and mind. This is how we can do the karma. Good and bad karma can come to life in 3 ways: through the way you think, the way you say, and the way you do. Somehow the Buddha break into 4, because wrong will is also considered the thinking. Will is the understanding. Understanding of things wrongly, then it leads to the wrong result. When we have the wrong will, we have the wrong thinking. It leads to the wrong saying and the wrong action. If the will said, okay, alcohol is good, people think that drinking alcohol it's okay, so let's go drink an alcohol. Then they commit the karma of drinking alcohol. And another man have the view that alcohol is bad, so he's thinking toward alcohol that I'm not going to go drink, I'm not going to invite anyone to come and drink. So his behavior changed because his will is not the same as the first person. So will is the starting point of success or suffering in life is come from having the right view. That is why right view is listed on the first item in the Noble Eightfold Path. In the Noble Eightfold Path. The reason you come to this class because you have different view than others. That's why you decided to dedicate your time, try to join the class until finish the program because it's benefit you. This is the view. For some people feel like, oh, Dhamma can study later. Weekend I want to rest, I want to be with my family. So they postpone the time to study Dhamma. So they delay their wisdom to understand the Dhamma. Okay, and the result, of course, is going to be different. And the thing that we should cultivate is opposite. You cultivate wholesome bodily action, wholesome verbal action, wholesome mental action, and you cultivate the right view, okay? Which we will discuss the right view and the wrong view in detail again when we talk about the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the very last lecture. Okay, now you see all of this, consider that heedfulness. You need sati, you need mindfulness to be mindful of what you think, to be mindful of what you're about to do, to be mindful of what you're about to say. So today's lecture, they all related because we will be discussed about the 4 foundation of mindfulness or Satippatthanana. And your job as a student, Dhamma student, you must find a way to connect the dot of what you learn. Okay, today we learn the heedfulness. Okay, how can I put heedfulness into practice? And how can heedfulness related to that kind of meditation technique? How can heedfulness related to the Satipatthana that the Buddha mentioned of how a man can cultivate mindfulness through his body, speech, and mind. So heedfulness, apamada, is the deathless path. Interesting. Heedlessness or pamada is the path of death. Those who are heedful do not die. Heedless is like a death. In other words, people who not careless. So they, in this case, the Buddha, in his eye, he said people who are not careless, they, even though they die, they consider they not die. They're not dead. But people who actually alive, when they heedless, they're like a dead. This is quite deep and quite interesting. At least 2 things you can think of. Why the Buddha said, oh, people who careless, it seems like they like death. Death can come in 2 meanings. The first meaning is if you're careless of what you do, you can harm yourself, right? If you work, you drive, you talk on the phone, you may have car accident, so you may die. So this actually, the actual death happened if you are careless of what you do. Happen all the time. And the second meaning, which is go deeper, that means the person who careless in life, which implies that that person lack of mindfulness in his way of thinking, doing, and saying. That person has a chance to die from good deeds, to die from goodness, to die from doing good, because he or she allow the mind to be controlled by the unwholesome state because they lack of mindfulness. Because when people are not mindful, easily to do bad, easily to break precept, and that lead to the negative karma into their life. And the second one is called padana, or the 4 kind of effort. Padana, there are 4 things that mentioned, right? But before I get to the detail of this padana, there are terms that I would like to mention up front because we're going to learn, see this term all often, and you should know that they point to the same thing. When you learn the Noble Eightfold Path, you will hear the word Samma Vayama. Samma Vayama, which means the Samma Vayama means the state that cause effort. And Viriya is another term. Viriya means effort, means diligence or perseverance, never easy to give up. And today you see this term, the padana. Padana means the Dhamma that cause one to start doing. is like the chief of the Dhamma that cause us to start doing something. So they point to the same thing, which is, this, all of this is you can think of the word effort, okay, or energy, okay, or perseverance, this one. Okay, usually you see these terms, sporadically throughout the text, but in different form and different context, but they refer to the same thing. Let me show you real quick. When you study the Noble Eightfold Path, this you see Samma Vayama, which you may not realize that, hey, they point to the same thing what we are about to learn today, which is the Padana. Okay, in a moment you see how similar they are. The right effort in the Noble Eightfold Path, you see that the Buddha talk about these 4 things that we should make an effort. The effort to prevent the arising of unarising unwholesome state, to abandon unwholesome state that have already arisen. Basically, the bad thing that you never have, make sure it doesn't get to you. Or the bad thing that you have, make sure you get rid of it. And the third one, to arouse wholesome state that have not yet arisen. The good thing that you don't have, let's say you never meditate, you never offering food to the monk, or you never observe precept. Make sure you acquire that. And once you have that, develop those wholesome state, make sure you secure it, you perfect it. Meditation is good, but not just do it once a month. It should be an habit. Giving is good, but not once a year to give. It should be a daily thing that you find way to give. This is what it means. You need to make an effort. You need to be brave. You need to be bold to get up at 5 o'clock, go meditate. To get up at 5 o'clock, prepare the food, and offer alms to the monk who come past your house at 6:30. So it's all about you make an effort to do good in any circumstances, whether it's rain, it's hot, it's snow. You get up and go meditate. Especially if you are a monk, you cannot say, oh, today let's take a rest because it's too hot. Today no air conditioning, let's not meditate. That's not the excuse. So the Pahana is the similar as you can see. Don't worry too much about the Pali term. It's good to at least hear it out. I will not test you on that. Okay, it's benefit you when you study the text on your own. You're gonna come across this term anyway. Sangvara Padana is to prevent evil from arising. You see, it's the same thing. The bad thing that you never have, like you don't drink and your friend offering you the drink, then your job is to be mindful not to entertain yourself or get involved with the drinking and drug. Pahana mean to abandon. Pahana mean killing. Abandon the arising evil. If you know you have bad habits of doing something, like gossiping or judgmental mind, laziness, you find way to get rid of them. Find way to kill those habits, those bad habits. Find way to abandon those bad habits that already arising in you. And the third one, this one is abandon the arising evil. This is the repeat, right? Yeah, this is the same. This should be opposite. If you look at number 4, Anurakhana, Anurak means protect. Protect means to maintain the wholesome state, the wholesome quality that you already have. So if you know that you already have that good quality in your life, you make sure you secure it, you maintain it, okay? And the third one should be similar to this. This is the one. The Padana that should arouse the wholesome state that we don't have it yet. That's why I said they point to the same thing. It's good to know that all of this, they are related, which you may come across them in various teachings of the Buddha. Now you see it here today. If we only talk about Padana, you may not aware that, hey, Padana is also show up in the Noble Eightfold Path, which is this one, the right effort. It's good to see them, over and over, so you can recognize them and relate them together. And the last one on the group, this one is called Atithana Dhamma. Atithana Dhamma, the virtue which create the success in life, or the virtue that everybody should establish in mind. This is the nice thing about the Nak Dhamma study curriculum. So it's the project, the curriculum grouped all the Dhamma into group like this, and easy for us to study and to put into practice. And when one practice, If you see 4 items on the list, you must practice 4 of them together in order for you to be success in that practice of that particular Dhamma. Dhamma group 2, Dhamma like Sati, Sampajanya, mindfulness and awareness. You cannot neglect awareness. Oh, I'm just going to be mindful, but I don't master the awareness. No, it doesn't work. Hiri otappa, shame of doing bad and fear the consequence of doing bad. So you develop both of them together. So this as well, this Dhamma group 4, Atithana Dhamma. There are 4 things on the list that the Buddha mentioned, right? The wisdom, panya, the truthfulness or satya, the relinquishment, okay, this may be a new term, the jaka, relinquishment, or you can think of giving up, abandoning. And the last one, the tranquilities or upasama. Okay, there may be a new term, and it's okay, you're here to learn this term as well. Wisdom, we hear wisdom very often when it's come to study the Dhamma, right? So in Atithana Dhamma, these 4 Dhamma, they group together for a specific purpose. That means you establish them together in your mind, whether you're a monk or the lay person. First thing that suggests here is to develop wisdom. As you may know, there are 3 kinds of wisdom in Buddhism, right? Wisdom that comes from learn is called learn wisdom. You don't know something, you go learn, then you know. And second form of wisdom is wisdom that comes from reflection. You reflect on what you learn. Then it's become another level of understanding. Everyone learning the same Dhamma class, but your understanding is not the same. It depends on the ability of you or your experience to reflect on what you learn. And then the last kind of wisdom is called the Bhavanamaya Panya, the wisdom that comes from seeing, not from thinking, through your mind development. Then you start see things the way they are, see the impermanence of things, see the dukkha condition of things, see this law of nature, how they work, the way they are. And that's the advanced wisdom. In this case, the wisdom is about you to understand the Dhamma that you learn, and you can put them into practice according to who you are. If you are a lay person, you know what 5 precepts are. You also know what 8 precepts are. You should know how to put them into practice. Don't harm yourself. Don't make the people around you feel comfortable. You need to know how to adjust. And so you can have less issue with people around you. But if you're a monk, you know you have more precepts than the lay people. You should know what you can do, what you cannot do, know what you should say, what you should not say, know how to behave yourself as a monk. A monk is not just know what precept, what I can, what I cannot do. It's come with the manner. It's come with the respected behavior. There's a lot of them that monk need to master. So all this is about wisdom, ability to understand all of this and put into practice in the context of whoever you are. You can be a boss, you can be a father, you can be a mother, you can be a son, but you need to adapt the Dhamma that you learn and put into practice correctly and properly. Then you'll be okay. You have less conflict in wherever you go. And the second thing is the truthfulness, right? Truthfulness, you think of truthfulness as what? Truthful to... First thing that comes to my mind when I hear the word truthfulness is about sincerities. You being sincere of your word, of your speech, of your action. You do what you say what you do. And you do the best of everything that you do. You are truthful. If you are a monk, there was a gentleman that I met. He said he only have 3 weeks to become a monk. He want to get to the bottom of the monk's life. And he told me that, Luang Pi, this ordination I am doing for myself, and I am doing it for real, not just for try it out. So if anything I should know in these 3 weeks, please take me there. So he being truthful of his life for 3 weeks as a monk, he take ordination seriously. Unlike many people may just come and try, I don't like, I quit. So those people may not go far in wherever they want to go. So if you are truthful, you would put your life into it because it's important to you. Now you are a student, Dhamma student, you should be truthful for your study. You study hard, you relearn what you learn, you reflect what you learn. Most importantly, Dhamma is unlike other subjects. You must put into practice. Then you will get to the point where the Buddha said realization of the benefit of the Dhamma that you learn. If you learn meditation, you know how to meditate, but you don't meditate. You cannot realize the feeling of the real meditation and the benefit of meditation that you can get unless you actually sit, right? So that's the idea of truthfulness. And the third one is called relinquishment or jaka. Jaka, people may think of giving food, giving material things. That is dana, which is not the same, okay? Sometimes people may feel like, is it the same? The dana and the jaka, is it the same as giving? Dana usually refer to give material thing, give food, give clothes, give money, give help to others. But when it's come to jaka, is a little bit deeper than that. You give up the bad thing, give up your resentment, give up your wrong will, give up your jealousy mind, give up your all kind of negativity that you have. That's which again it's a little bit harder to practice, right? So when you come home from work, you may have the bad mood that come with you at home, and now you come home to be a wife or husband. You should find a way to give up those things that all the bad thing, all the negativity thing that happen at home. At work before you come home. So you free your mind to be ready for the last one, which is called tranquility. They are related. Upasama is the ability to find peace of mind. And the reason you can do that because you practice the jaka, you give up, you let go completely. Bad mood, gossiping, people say something bad to me, just let go, give up. Bring the mind to be at peaceful state at all time. All of this should be established. It should be practiced. And when one have this, one would be a happy person, whether you are a monk or a lay person. So you may see the Dhamma like this from time to time, that group together, that everybody should practice, everybody should develop. Okay, in this case, it's fall into the category of Atithana Dhamma, the virtue that everyone should establish in the mind. And this one is called the Apamada. I'm sorry. This one is called Itipada. My slide is not the Itipada. Okay, we have two more. Actually, yeah, almost there. The Itipada, the four base of success. I believe most of us were familiar with this. There are four things that the Buddha suggests one to cultivate as well. In this case, whatever work that you are working on, if you have this, you're on your way to be success. The first one is called Chanda, the satisfaction and joy in the thing that concern, in the thing that you do. If you are a student and you don't like what you do, then it's going to be difficult for you to enjoy the class and do good in that class. So this is the first step, to find Chanda, that I am willing to study, I am willing to take this responsibility, to be a boss, to be whatever it is. So you must willing to do the thing first. And then the second thing, not just willing and do nothing. You make an effort. Get out of your comfort zone. Okay, yesterday you are the student in this Dhamma class, and tomorrow you have to be a teacher to teach Dhamma to someone else. Now your role is different. So you must find passion to go teach, and you make an effort to get out of your comfort zone to study more so you can understand that particular Dhamma before you give the Dhamma talk. So the Virya is what we learned a moment ago, right? The perseverance, the diligence, delight, the effort in doing the thing that you need to do. You make an effort because you may find passion. You like to do at the beginning, right? You like to study study Dhamma, look good, 15 weeks, I learn a lot. But after a few weeks, it seems to be a lot of work to do, a lot of homework, a lot of reading material. And then you say, oh, you know what, maybe it's not for me. You plan to give up. If you don't have Virya, which is push you forward, this guy push you forward, then you might thinking of, oh, I'll do it later. Okay? And when you have Virya, okay, you like it, you push yourself forward, you have self-discipline. Not only that, the Buddha said you must have focus. Citta means focus. Stay focused of the thing that you're working on. Is that enough? No. The last one is called Vimamsa. Vimamsa means what? You investigate. Why you don't like it? Why you want to quit? Why this Dhamma you don't understand? How can you understand it? So it's called Vimamsa, to diligently thinking around and investigate the reason of the thing that you're working on. If you put them into picture, maybe easier to see. First, you pick anything, okay, any work, any task that you want to do. Even let's say meditation. People say meditation is good. Okay, I have enough information. I know meditation is good, and I like to try. I want to sit. Okay, Shanta, you have that. And once you start sitting, people say, "Oh, you will feel relaxed. You feel happy." After a month, you don't feel happiness. You don't feel relaxed. Oppositely, you feel stress. You feel more question. You have more physical pain, and then you want to quit. Now you must develop viriya. Viriya means don't just quit. Why it works for others? Why it doesn't work for you? And the thing I like about viriya that where some people may not aware that not just you push yourself forward, but you must develop the 5 ways to enjoy. Enjoy pushing yourself forward. You must find joy of doing meditation technique that you are practicing. Okay, and then you focus when you meditate. Okay, what should I do? Should I focus on my breath? Should I focus on the walking meditation? Whatever technique that you learn from your teacher, you put wholeheartedly into practice. You focus on that fully. But it's not enough yet. You need to investigate, because when you focus, this is number 2. Now you have develop number 3. If you develop up to number 4, you develop why I always falling asleep every 15 minutes, and why if I sit like this I get numb, why I don't feel happy. So you investigate, then you adjust. Then all of this is gonna support each other. Okay, it's like intensify. You will love meditation more. You want to come and sit more, and your mind will be focused more, and you will have more investigation because you know it's good. Then you definitely will be success in your meditation practice. And this can apply to all the work that you're working on. Okay, as a student, as a boss, any project that you're working on. Okay, you develop chanta. Love what you do. Okay, don't easily to give up. Okay, stay focused and investigate of the problem that arise in the project that you're working on, and find way to overcome them. Then this one we come to the 4 Brahma Vihara, the unbounded state of mind. This is one of the famous teaching in Buddhist teaching, right? In Buddhism as well, everyone may familiar with the word metta, karuna, mudita, and ubekha. Metta is loving kindness. Karuna is compassion. Mudita is appreciative joy, and ubekha is equanimity. Like I said, when you hear the Dhamma like this, that group together, it designed to practice together, not separate. Some people practice only metta, but neglect compassion. So I am a loving kindness man. When people suffering, I wish them well. I share loving kindness. Is that enough? According to the teaching of the Buddha, it's not enough. Okay, why is that? Because they decide to practice together to make you happy and to make the world around you happy. Metta is wishing well for all being. People are suffering. Now there's a flooding in Thailand, many places. People lack of food, lack of water, clothes. The world is suffering at the moment. Okay, we see the news. We feel sympathy. We wish them well. That's metta. If you take your practice into the next level, you will do something called karuna or compassion. This is a difference. If you are asked what is the difference between metta and karuna, or loving kindness and compassion, this is it. Okay, the trembling of the heart in response to the suffering. Okay, I see the news. People are suffering. I wish them well. Not only I wish them well, I make an effort to do something, to reach out, to support, to make the situation better. Whatever I can. Maybe donate the money, maybe send the food, maybe even send the encouraging word through your Facebooks, your Line, whatever it is. Take an action that I let the world know that I am really concerned of what happened to you. I want to help, and I am helping you in the way that I can. That's called karuna. This is something that we should pay attention and take action, not just loving kindness. Loving kindness is not enough. If everyone just share loving kindness but nobody get up and go help, then people still suffering. That is not nice. Another practice that you can use here, this is another level, like I said, another level. When someone treating you badly, someone say something bad to you, something yelling at you, in this situation, if you are mindful, you will be noticed that the person who are doing that to you, they are suffering. The mind is being burned by anger. That's why they act like that. They say things like that. So when you see people are suffering, your job is to develop loving kindness first. Okay, I wish you well. I wish you free from that. And your job is not to add more anger to the person. This is called karuna. The moment that you start saying something bad to them, you don't practice loving kindness and you don't practice the karuna. Your job is to acknowledge that, okay, he is suffering, so I wish him well, I wish him understand. I will not say anything or do anything that lead to more violence or more suffering for this person. That's called karuna, which is a little bit difficult to practice, right? But it's here, it's hidden here. This is called karuna, that you know what, I'm not going to harm him, I'm not going to add more suffering to him, so I'm going to remain silent at least for a moment. Okay, and then mudita, this is what the society need the most, because people tend to have jealousy mind. How can we have an opening heart in response to other happiness? When someone becomes success, can we wholeheartedly rejoice in their success? If you work together in the same company and start up the same day, work in the same position, and 2 years later your friend get promoted to be the boss, to be the manager, you may be asking, why not me? Why him? And then you may turn yourself against your friend. You may have jealousy mind. Instead of you develop the mudita or appreciative joy, then you can be happy working with your friends, because maybe he has some quality that you don't have. But human being, we tend to be selfish. We tend to self-center. Why not me? And then jealousy happen, and then we don't want to work together, and then the situation go bad, in the environments go bad in the workplace. Okay. And the last one, this is also important. You may have all of this. You are a loving kindness person. You want to help. Even though you have loving kindness and you try to help, but you cannot change the situation. Let's say the people may die in the flood. People may die in the volcano eruption. You feel sympathy. You send money to help. You send the message. But people still dying. What you can do? You shouldn't be suffering of your own action. That's why the Buddha add on ubekha. This is related to panya or wisdom, to understand the situation. Hey, you have done your best, nothing much you can do. The factor that keeps one mind clear and wholesome, as what happened to me, my aunt's passed. She's 67, she's healthy, no disease, very energetic woman. We have twins. Another aunt, she's not very physically healthy. She go to the hospital, very often. But this aunt who just died, like I said, she's very healthy person. Somehow she died before her sister, who always ill, having asthma, taking medicine every day. And when that happened, okay, loving kindness, compassion, comfort everyone in the body, in the family. And we have to come to the point where we develop equanimity, peace of mind, to accept, because death come to everybody, whether you like it or not. Then we can move on into life. So ubekha, this is, to me, is probably the most difficult to practice. To let go and to remain calm in the situation that you may not like it. Okay. So this is the detail. Metta, loving kindness, it helps you to deal with hostility and ill will. You have calm and relaxing mind when you share loving kindness. Before you sit, you can share loving kindness. Okay, there may be people that misunderstanding you, say something bad to you, gossiping on you. You just share loving kindness, and you might feel relaxed. Karuna, dealing with the violence, hurting others. When, like the same example, someone says something bad to you, you don't return the bad words for them. That means you practice the both loving kindness and compassion. Otherwise, both of you will end up having a problem, more serious problem. Mudita, dealing with envy, jealousy, conceit. Okay, has to be me. Why not me all the time? And the last one, this is Ubekha, is about develop wisdom to deal with the situation wisely. The panya that we learn, right? In the Atithan Dhamma has panya. To put the Dhamma into practice, this one, panya, in the situation. Okay. When my mom died, I have to confess that when I was alone, I cry. I know death is coming, but I cannot accept that the person I love the most die. She not deserve to die. She died. I don't want her to die. So I cry, and I try to use all the Dhamma that I learned to help me overcome this pain, this sorrow that I have by losing my mom. Even though it's still hard to let go people that we love. Okay, so wisdom is the ultimate way to actually accept things the way they are, that death is coming to everyone. When we have the wisdom, it helps us to develop ubekha. Because we're so ignorant, we are trapped to the realm of craving. I don't want this person to leave me. I want this person and this thing to be with me for a very long time. And when things happen oppositely, I am the one who are suffering badly. So if you have wisdom, you understand things and you can accept things, you can regain consciousness, the mind can be calm and you can overcome that suffering. That's why Ubekha is considered a Dhamma that related to Panya or wisdom. Okay? Like this for a quick example. Metta. Metta is the love without condition. You think of the love of your parents. They love you, they love us even before we were born. Right? Even in the mother wombs, whether we born healthy, handicapped or not, they don't care. The love already start at the moment that they know that, I am pregnant as a mother. So that's the metta, loving kindness, unconditioned. No matter how bad you are, the parents still love you the same. 2 children, 3 children, they love them equally. That's the loving kindness without expecting thing in return. And karuna, they always reach out to help when the son need help. When people they love need help, that's called karuna. They're not just, I love you, but you on your own. Usually don't. They find a way to do that. Sometimes money doesn't have, parent may not have money, but if son need money for something, they will find a way to send the money to you. And they don't tell us how do they get the money. That's karuna. That if you reflect, you may understand what I say. And mudita, when son success, daughter success, the first person who always there is our parents to rejoice in our success. No jealousy mind, no hidden agenda. I love you because I love you. No condition, no others. Okay. But here is the last one that mom and dad or parent, everyone should cultivate. Ubekha means you utilize your wisdom to understand that everyone have their own karma, everyone have their own life. When your kids grow up, they finish school, they start working, they may get married, they may have their family of their own, and now your job is to give them the distance, give them the space. Okay, ubekha, another meaning of ubekha is to look into, but you don't get involved. You don't get interfere with their family. Don't go there and help them making all the decisions. They no longer, now they have their own family. They have their own life to take care of. So your job is to remain. You look to them from afar and find a way to support them when they need it. But you're not there to always manage their life because they're no longer with you as a child. That's called ubekha. Okay, that please keep this in mind. And now we come to the last one on this group. It's called the 4 protective meditation, which I find is quite interesting. It's called Ariyasacca. Ariyasacca means protect. And the kamma, you hear the word kamma, right? The law of kamma. Kamma means action, right? At the same time, kamma means work. Keep this in mind. It's not just the action. Kamma means work. And the thana means the station. Station or place. What does it mean then? So it's the station, it's the working station of the mind. And when the mind is working on this station, it helps protect the owner of that mind. That's why it's called Dhatukammatthana. The four protective meditation that protect those who practice this kind of meditation from what? From the defilements, right? When you practice meditation, it helps you to deal with the refined defilements. Still remember there are level of defilement, right? When you observe precept, you can look through this picture. First is called Buddhanusati. Second is called Marananusati. The third is called Metta. And the fourth is called Asubha. This one. And if you need the definition, I have a short definition here. Reconnection of the Buddha qualities is called Buddhanusati Bhavana. Bhavana means to develop, to grow, to make it happen. You develop sati through the recollection of the Buddha qualities. Second, Metta Bhavana. You develop metta and loving kindness in your meditation, the one that we just learned. You wish all beings to be well, to be free from suffering wholeheartedly. No condition, whether people you love, people you don't like, people who hate you, people who love you. When you share loving kindness, you share equally. You think of the ice that radiate the coolness around the ice itself. The ice doesn't care whether this coolness go to the bad person or the good person. It doesn't care. So it radiates equally. That's the idea of metta. That is why sometimes I feel like metta is not easy to practice. It's easy to share loving kindness or share merit to someone we love, right? But when it's time to share the merit to someone we don't like, then we need to make an effort to make sure that they receive the same level of loving kindness. It's not easy. And because we have defilement in the mind. And the third one is called Asubha Bhavana, the contemplation of the unattractiveness nature of the body. The body is ugly, the body is loathsome. That's why this meditation technique appears here. And the recollection of death, this one, Marananusati. If you think of death, it helps us to regain consciousness, it helps us to forgive, it helps us to let go, it helps us to act and prepare, this might be coming to us. And when it comes, we may not overwhelm too much with the suffering that comes from death. So each one of these group together to protect us from the defilement, from the mind. Buddhanusati. Imagine that if a person recall the Buddha, the virtue of the Buddha in his mind, if you have the Buddha sit into your mind, you wouldn't be able to do something bad because the Buddha is there watching you. So if we know that the Buddha is with us, then the mind tends to be more mindful of the action because the Buddha is seeing, is watching what we do. So you recall Buddhanusati, it gives you faith, it gives you confidence, it gives you a peace of mind. With this kind of mind, defilement cannot take action effectively because you allow the Buddha to sit there in your mind. Same thing with metta, right? Metta is the opposite to what we just learned a moment ago, this one. Metta is the opposite for hostility and ill will. If someone develop metta, you lessen angriness, you lessen anger, you lessen the ill will, hostility, resentment, you name it, agitation to whatever that happened to your life on that day because you develop metta bhavana. And the asubha, this one deal with lust because when the meditator have a lustful mind, sometimes the Buddha suggests them to reflect on the dead body, the corpse, the ugliness of the body, that the body is not beautiful, the body is... The asubha can look at asubha in many levels. Okay? This is one of them, to look through the certain organ in the body. When we ordain, every month we receive the meditation technique from our preceptor, this one. We would learn Kesa, Loma, Nakha, Thanta, Tajo, which means head hair, body hair, nail, teeth and skin. And why did the preceptor give this instruction to the new monk? Because he know people who just come ordained, just come from the lay life. As a lay person, they live life in the sense pleasure world. And all of a sudden, he wants to become a monk. And when the new monk start to practice meditation, his mind always get distracted by the sense pleasure that he get used to at home. So the preceptor said, you know what? Every time your mind wandering because of lust, sensualities, you use this meditation technique by reflect on head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, and skin. Because if you really look into it, you will be notice that all of this is ugly. From dark hair go to gray hair, and then no hair, right? Same thing. Nail, teeth, skin go from beautiful skin go to wrinkled skin. If you see this and understand this nature, then the mind slowly fade away from lust, and the mind can come back and stay with the object of meditation. That's the idea of reflect on asubha. It helps us to deal with lust, the defilement with lustful mind. And then Marananusati, this one, it helps us not to be careless, because death may come today. So you should be wise in spending your time. You should be able to, you deserve to be happy every day as you live in this world. If we reflect on death, people may make a mistake to us, and we may not like it. We also make a mistake all the time, because all of us here, we are ignorant beings. So when ignorant beings living together, it's, almost always we make a mistake. And when it happens, our job is to come back, reflect on the nature of life, and find a way to forgive and forget. And one of the strongest antidote to help us to let go is reflect on that. You may hate someone badly. You may get mad with someone badly. What if you don't get up tomorrow? Would you feel sorry if you don't have a chance to say, you know what, Mom, I'm sorry what I said to you. I don't mean that. So what happened to my friend? He didn't have a chance to say goodbye to anybody. He flew from Bangkok to Chiang Rai, attend the funeral to my friend dad, and on the way back, because there was a flooding, he cannot get to the airport. So he decided to drive back to Bangkok himself. If he flew back, there may be no accident. But something forced him to make that decision to drive back alone at night. And after 7 hours of driving, maybe physically tired because of the rain, because of the darkness, and driving alone, and he got to the car accident. He died in spot. Tomorrow there's a big meeting waiting. Every customer waiting. No time to say goodbye. It's just like that. To me, it's life sometimes is not fair, right? And who should we complain to? It's not fair, because whoever created the law of karma, okay, this is the law of karma. So we need to be aware of our own action. We don't know. We know the birthday, but we don't know the last day. So every day as we live, we should be kind. We should be loving kindness. We should be compassion. We should feel grateful for who we are and what we do. And as you sit here and listening to this Dhamma talk, that means all of us, we still alive. We should appreciate it. Get the most out of it. So by reflecting on that, sometimes it eases the mind from agitation. It's easy to forgive. Okay, never mind. Tomorrow I'll fix it. I'll forgive you. Related to that, which the topic that we will be discussed today, we'll be talking the Dhamma Group 4.4, which is the last group of the Dhamma Group 4. We'll be talking about the Dhatukammatthana, which is the 4 meditation elements, which again is related to the Ariyasacca, which we just learned. And then we'll be touching on. We cannot go detail into all of this, because this considered advanced teaching of the Buddha, the 4 foundation of mindfulness or Satippatthanana, and the 4 noble truth or Ariyasacca. But as the elementary student, you must know all of this Dhamma topic. Okay, so let's continue. This group of meditation is called Dhatukammatthana, right? The meditation on the element. Dhatu means element. What is elements? There are 4 great elements, as we may know. First is called earth element, Pathvi Dhatu. Second is called water elements, Apo Dhatu. The third is called fire elements, called Tejo Dhatu. And the last element is called air, or the Vayo Dhatu. Okay, there's a Pali term as well. Earth element is something solid. You think of bone, teeth, nail. So we have this in the body. And water element, okay, in the body we have blood, we have saliva, we have something liquid, something cohesive. That's the characteristic of the Apo Dhatu, or the water elements. It's cohesive. And the fire element, how do we know that we have the fire element in the body? Because the body maintains temperature. We have average 37. If temperature is too high or too low, then we may die. The fire element. As long as human being, that person still alive, that person must have the fire in the body, the fire elements. And the last one is called air elements. This is understandable. We breathe in and breathe out all the time. We have gas in the body. That's the idea. It's something that moves in the body. It's called the Vayo Dhatu. This is the nature of human life. I was asked one time, Luang Pi, what is the mind? What is the mind? This is the body. It's quite challenging to answer this kind of question. What is the mind? Okay, so before I answer to the person, I ask him, what is the body? What is the body? According to Buddhism, this is the body. The body composed of the 4 great elements. All of this make body the body. Earth, something solid. Water, something liquid. Fire, temperature, and air, something that moves in the body. The space, the breath that we have. So this is body. What is the body? The body is the element that made by these 4 great elements. Then body becomes the body. And this is the mind. The mind is a refined element. We cannot see. But all of this, they are coarse elements. We can see, we can touch. It's the same word, element, but it's not the same. It's refined. Refined means we cannot see from the physical eyes. We can see the mind through the meditation. When we meditate in the deeper level, advanced meditator can see the eye. Okay, there's a possibility to see the eye through the meditation practice, and that's the definition of the mind. The mind is a refined element. The mind has ability to feel. The mind can feel. The mind can perceive, can memorize. The mind can think, good thing, bad, not good, not bad, and the mind can know. That's the idea of what is the mind. But here in this teaching of this kind of meditation, what we learned a moment ago, we learned these 4 the 4 protective meditation, right? The meditation that protect the mind from the defilement. And one of them, at number 3, it talk about contemplation of the unattractive nature of the body. The body is ugly. When we think of this, the mind let go lust or crave for sensuality, and then when the mind let go, the mind easily to come back and stay with the meditation object. So the Dhatu element go deeper than that. Now it look into the element or the Dhatu level, not just the body, not just the head hair, body hair. The hair itself come from earth elements and the water elements in the hair. In the air, in the hair, right? So now in this type of meditation is a little bit advanced than the one that we just discussed about, but it's there in the Buddhist text. It's one of the techniques that used for many monks back then, taught by the Buddha. So the monk reflect on earth element, solid or extension like this, hair, bone, nail, teeth, and also they reflect on liquid or the water element. The blood, urine, saliva, the limbs. They also reflect on the heat or the fire element, the tejo, radiation, the temperature in the body. And they also reflect on the air or the vayo, the motion, the breath, the gas in the body. Here, sometimes we can think of vipassana. Vipassana means the meditation, inside meditation, meditation that help us to develop wisdom, to see the nature of things. When we see things like this, we will understand the law of karma. The law of nature, which talk about self and no self. When we don't cling on self, then the mind cling on nothing. The mind come back, and the mind can relieve. Right here, there's no self here. When we learn about the 5 aggregates, these 2 things, they are conditioned. The body is conditioned by these elements. The mind also conditioned by these elements, and 2 conditioned things stay together, which become another condition, which is called the 5 aggregate. 5 aggregate is the conditioned phenomena, is the container of experience. We experience the world through the eyes, see something we like, the ear, hear something we like, The nose smells something, the tongue tastes something, the body touch something, and the mind think of something. This is how we experience the world through the five aggregates. But in the deeper level, in the vipassana level, those advanced meditators would understand that, hey, there is no self in there. It's just the conditioned thing. It's just the phenomena. So there's nothing that worth clinging on. Especially, there's nothing that worth clinging on in this physical body. And one of the teaching that's quite deep from the female arahant named Vashira, she said, there's nothing that come to be. I'm sorry. She said, only dukkha that come to be. Only dukkha that exists, only dukkha that come to be, only dukkha that cease of falling away. There's nothing else. For her, she sees this life, body and mind as a phenomena of suffering because it's subject to the law of nature. It's impermanent. It's continue to change moment to moment. And whatever continue to change moment to moment, that condition is called suffering. It cannot remain the same. And when things cannot remain the same and we have no power over it, we cannot do anything about it, it's called no self. We cannot force the body to remain young. We cannot force the body to remain healthy, to recover from cold, from disease, from cancer. We don't have that power even to our own body. So that means we not really own the body. It's not worth clinging as self. And when people see the truth like this, their mind is liberated from wrong clinging of the five aggregates, which is quite deep. So here we're dealing with the meditation object for the advanced meditator. For us, if we think of bone, think of teeth, think of fire, sometimes we don't feel anything much, right? With just imagination. Okay, we have hair, we have water, we have temperature, but we still have lustful mind. We still have agitated mind. We still getting angry. We still see that, hey, this is me, this is mine. There is self in there. So that's why in different set of meditation, it gives different benefit. What we just learned here, the 4 Ariyasacca Kammatthana, this is good for all of us to bring the mind back to the center, to bring the mind back to the body by recall, thinking of the Buddha, thinking of the metta or loving kindness, thinking of the body this way. This way mean what? Like this. Okay, the body is ugly. Nothing is beautiful. Today he look young, handsome, but eventually he will look like this. Old man, right? Or like this. This happened to all of us. So when meditator, especially the young monk ordained, and have lustful mind, worry about sensualities, thinking of the sensuality, when he reflect on this nature, it bring the mind back. But the lust still there, cannot remove. But when we think of this, then it's just, help lessen the power of lust that occur in that particular session when the monk meditate. And how can we do that? Then we can move on to the next teaching, which is Satippatthanana, right? How can we be mindful of what's happening in the mind? Lust happen, anger happen, delusion happen, falling asleep happen. This is the instruction of the Buddha to you. To you mean what? To both monk and the lay people. You should live with sati, mindfulness. And you should live with sampajanya or awareness or the clear comprehension. This is the Dhamma topic that we learn on the first day, the sati and sampajanya. And today, this is the detailed version of what sati means. Okay, this is the nature of the mind. It's a wandering object. It's like to travel. It travels very fast, travel very far. It goes wherever it wants to go. It doesn't like to stay still. Sometimes you think of the mind as the monkey, naughty monkey. It's just like to play. Your job is to understand the nature of your mind. If you let the mind or you habituate the mind like that, okay, it's going to be difficult for you to bring the mind back when you want to meditate. Mindfulness is and awareness, they consider the great assistant of all the Dhamma that we practice. That's why the Buddha said, take this advice. If you are mindful, then whatever suffering whatever defilement in front of you in this world, you name it, thousands of them, 10,000 of them, millions of them, whatever defilement or enemy in front of you, if you are mindful, as long as you are mindful, you can be safe from those defilements. Even 10 people standing in front of you start yelling back to you. for some reason. If you are mindful, you can regain consciousness, you can handle that situation peacefully. But if you lack of mindfulness, then problem follow. You suffering, they suffering. That's the importance of sati and sampachanya. And here let me show you that may surprise you. In every important Dhamma that you study, you can find mindfulness always incorporate there. The faculty and the Phala 5 and the Power 5, you see the mindfulness is here. In the Noble Eightfold Path, the mindfulness is here, the right mindfulness. Samma Sati. And the 7 factor of awakening, you see the mindfulness, it is list on the top. It's list on the top. This is called mindfulness first. And when you have mindfulness, then the rest follow. So you cannot take the practice of mindfulness lightly. It is extremely important. So what is meant by Satipatthana? Sati means mindfulness, of course. Satthana, Upatthana, mean placing near or being present or attending. So altogether, the Satipatthana mean what? The presence of mindfulness or the attending with mindfulness. That's the idea of Satipatthana. And in this teaching, this is the highlight. This is the highlight. Once I get to this highlight, I feel very excited about this particular sutra. Okay, the Buddha said, monks, this is the direct path for the purification of being. Being means all of us, humans. For the overcoming of sorrow, lamentation. For the disappearance of dukkha in life. And discontent. For the acquiring of the right path, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. For the realization of Nibbana. All of this point to the 4 Satipatthana. I said, wow, this is interesting, and it seemed to be an important teaching, because if we practice Satipatthana, we can get rid of dukkha in life, all beings. So the purpose of Satipatthana is to purify, right? Purification of mind for all beings, to overcome sorrow, lamentation, to the removing or the extinguishing of the suffering, and that support the walking down the path of the Noble Eightfold Path, and for the realization of Nibbana. That's the importance of Satipatthana. In other words, the Buddha teach us how to practice sati, to develop sati in these 4 areas of our life, this is the 5 aggregate, the body and the mind. The first area is the body, called kaya. Kaya means the body. Kaya nupassana means contemplation of the body. Second, you develop sati through the feeling, contemplation of the feeling. Vedana, Vedana means feeling. And the third, you cultivate, you develop sati through the mind. That's interesting. Citta means mind. Citta nupassana means contemplation. Citta nupassana, contemplation of the mind. And the last, you develop sati through the Dhamma or the mind object, which is the Dhamma nupassana Satipatthana. Contemplation, the sati through the Dhamma. This is how it goes. It's the first one is easier than the last one. It goes like this. That is why most of the students, we are suggest to practice or develop sati through the body first, and then we go to the feeling, and then we go to the mind, and then we go to the mind object, which is the most advanced in practicing Satipatthana. When it comes to develop sati through the body, we can think of breathing, breathe in and breathe out. We can think of have sati through the posture, the way you walk, the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you sleep. And you can think of the activities. You eat, you run, you cook, you work. And you can reflect, develop sati through the body part, like head, hair, body, hair, nail, what we just learned, and including the element. Now you see the element here, because the element, earth, water, wind, fire, is in this physical body. So we can develop sati through that reflection as well. And then the crops decay. When the body dies, 1 day, what happened? When the body dies, 7 days, what happened? When the body dies, a few weeks, what happened? That's the detail in Satipatthana. So when we develop sati through all of this, the mind come back. The mind let go all of the lust, let go all of the worry, let go anything. It just come back and stay with the meditation object. When we have good mindfulness, it leads us to have good concentration. That's how it works. But the key idea is here. You can find these three terms. When develop sati through the body, through the mind object, and through the Dhamma. When develop sati through the body, the feeling, the mind, and the mind object, the Buddha have these three keywords. The first one, the second one, and third one. The first keyword is called effort. You see, effort. In this case, it's called atapi. We just learned effort earlier, which is viriya, right? Viriya or padana. We make an effort in whatever meditation object that you use. You make an effort. That means you push yourself forward. You don't easy to give up. With the clear comprehension of the technique of what's going on, with the mindfulness of the technique that you use, then you will be able to continue to observe what's happening in the mind, what's happening in the body as you walk, as you sit, as you talk, as you do things. Where is your mind? It helps the mind to be more. It helps us to be more mindful. I think this picture may help you to understand what Luang Pi just mentioned better in the practical way. We have the term that we learned already. We have sati or mindfulness, and we have the term called sampachanya or the full comprehension we learned from the first week. What is sati again? In this case, sati or mindfulness is ability to know when your mind attention move from one thing to another. When it moves, as soon as you know, that means you are mindful. And what is sampachanya again? Sampachanya is the ability to investigate what's going on, what caused the mind to move from the object, and how can I bring the mind back? Why I don't feel relaxed? Why I feel sleepy? So with mindfulness telling you that you are about to fall asleep, and when you know that you're about to fall asleep, you investigate why you fall asleep. Then you find a way to bring it back, to be awake, to continue your sitting. That's how sati and sampachanya, that's how they support each other. And the goal is to have concentration or the samadhi or the collectiveness of mind. The mind being collected, being unifying. That's another beautiful word. When you hear the word concentration, you may feel like it has to get there. You may have stress a little bit, but you feel like, oh, but if you think of collected or unified, you just let it be. Let the mind unify, let the mind slowly collect it to one point. So the mind is like the horse, the wild horse that keep on running. It doesn't like you to go near. It doesn't like you to play with it. And now you want to train this wild horse. So you decided to tie the horse to the pole. This pole is your meditation technique. And the mindfulness is the rope that tie the horse to the pole. So the horse cannot run far. It will stay near the post. And with the sampachanya or the clear comprehension, it will investigate, is the horse being tied to tie or to loose? Is he obedient? Is he okay to go? Is he okay to direct this and that or not? So it helps to investigate and to find the balance of the horse or the mind when we meditate. The same thing, okay, this mindfulness, we start from the body first, okay? The body movement, when you brush your teeth, you know you brush your teeth. When you eat, you know what you're eating. You do one thing at a time. You mindfully observe. Don't have to be when you sit and close your eye. You can develop mindfulness through everything that you do on a daily basis. When you eat mindfully, you put down the phone, you look at the food in front of you, you make decision what kind of food you want to eat, how much you want to eat, and when you will stop eating. Then you start to take the food one spoon at a time, slowly chew it, and swallow it and take the next bite. You know the taste, you know the texture, you know spicy or sweet. This is how you develop mindfulness through the body. Just, your daily routine by eating breakfast, eating lunch, eating dinner. You can develop mindfulness. And when you work, when you do the garden, when you cook, you can apply the same technique to be mindful of the work in front of you, which is happen to be the post that you tie the mind with. You tie the mind with the cooking, you tie the mind with food, you tie the mind with gardening, and you stay focused. Don't let the mind get distracted while working on that particular task in front of you. This is how you develop mindfulness at the beginning level, and later on you slowly develop the mind to the advanced level, to develop the sati in the advanced level by observing your feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Observing the mind have lust or not, the mind have anger or not, the mind have delusion or not, the mind falling asleep or not. Okay, and then later on, this is the most difficult one to observe the mind object, which we talk about the Four Noble Truths, the five aggregate, the sense sphere, all of this is the advanced the Dhamma that we can develop sati to monitoring those Dhamma phenomena when it happen in our mind as well. So it's more difficult. But you start from here, start from develop mindfulness through the body. Okay, so here in this slide, I want you to know the relationship between sati, relationship between sampajanya, and relationship between the samadhi. With the mind at the center, how all of these, 1, 2, 3, support each other, support you to have a good meditation. You need to be able to explain that. All right, now we come to the last topic today. Just hang in there, okay? Almost done. The Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths. Everyone seems to be familiar with the word Four Noble Truths. Long P will send you the link of the video. I explain about the Satippatthanana in detail and the Four Noble Truths in detail. It's a sideline information that please feel free to explore those videos. I will send to the live group tonight. So the significance of the Four Noble Truths. Because not understanding and not penetrating the Four Noble Truths. You mean you. And I mean the Buddha himself. We have roamed and wandered through this long course of samsara. You see how important of the Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths is not just the truth. There's a meaning of there's a purpose why the Buddha put the word noble in front of the truth, because it's not just the regular truth, which I will explain in a moment. And because of not knowing Four Noble Truths, that's why we keep on reborn, okay, over and over. That's what it means here. And why the Buddha declared this? Because it is beneficial. Why he declared the Four Noble Truths? It belongs to the fundamental of the holy life. It leads to disenchantment. It leads to dispassion. It leads to cessation. It leads to peace, to direct knowledge, to enlightenment, and to nibbana. So in other words, if one understands the Four Noble Truths fully, one will realize nibbana. That's how important of the Four Noble Truths. So in this short explanation, okay, what are the Four Noble Truths? The Four Noble Truths composed of 4 factors. First is called dukkha. In Pali, usually translate to suffering, discontent, dissatisfactoriness. There are many terms that use. And the second factor is called samudaya, which is the cause of dukkha. The cause of dukkha, which is tanha. So tanha cause suffering. Okay, and nirodha is the cessation of dukkha. Cessation of dukkha happen because of one practice the Noble Eightfold Path, or the makha. So the makha is the cause that lead to the cessation of dukkha. It's about the teaching of the Buddha is about cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. These are the 4 things that mentioned that are composed in the Four Noble Truths. Okay, the word dukkha has many meanings. That is why many scholars, they don't translate it. They just stick with the word dukkha. No matter what English vocabulary that you use, it cannot contain all the dimension of the meaning of the word dukkha. Okay, like suffering is still not enough. Anxiety, unsatisfactoriness, unease. All of this point to the word dukkha. Okay, the easy way, one way that we can understand is this one. There is the word sukha, which translates to happiness in the teaching of the Buddha. And now today we talk about dukkha. Sukha, translated to happiness, is come in the sense of stability. Stability means there's no anxiety. Everything seems to be okay. So we feel good about what we have, about who we are. Life is good because stability. Dukkha, oppositely, is come in the sense of instabilities. You think of this cart when you go to the shopping mall and you pick one cart and start shopping. There's always one wheel that doesn't like to go where it's supposed to go. It's always drag you off the path. This is life. When you wake up tomorrow, you may not know what to expect. You feel like today I'm physically healthy. Tomorrow, who knows? You may diagnose 4-stage cancer. That's life. It's come with the sense of concern, worry, things gonna go wrong. The sense of instability that always within us. This is the nature of dukkha. So that is why in the teaching of the first Noble Truth, noble at least has several meanings. The first one is like, is unchangeable truth. It's true before 5,000 years ago. It's true now. It will be true in the future. That's one meaning. And another meaning of noble is ennoble us to be a noble person. Once we get to know this truth, we become a noble being. It turns us from ignoble being to be a noble being. In other words, it distances us away from the defilements when we get to know this truth. That's why it's called noble truth. Rebirth is suffering, decay is suffering, disease is suffering, death is suffering. Okay, that's what the Buddha said. Sorrow, lamentation, physical pain, mental pain, despair are suffering. Okay, now we see two kinds of suffering already. To be associated with unpleasant is suffering. To be separated from pleasant, human, animal, object, you name it, is suffering. Not getting what you want is suffering. Okay, so that means suffering in this world come into these three categories. We have to be with someone we don't like, we are suffering. We have to separate from someone that we like, we are suffering. We don't get what we want, we are suffering. But most importantly, this sentence is the summary that in short, the 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering or dukkha. This is quite deep. And why we cling on this? Why we cling on the 5 aggregates? Why we think that we're handsome, we're beautiful, we're strong, we live long, we have this, we have that. And the Buddha point to the word tanha, which is the second noble truth. Because of tanha, then we cling. If we remove tanha, then there's no clinging. If no clinging, there's no suffering. Simple is that. But simple doesn't mean easy to do. Right? Any suffering in life is coming to this category. It's coming down to self. Why? Okay, I don't want to decay. I don't want to get ill. I don't want to die. It's about I, me and my. I don't want to cry. I don't want to be suffering. I don't want to separate. I don't want to associate with people I don't like. I don't want to separate from something I like. I don't get what I want. They're always I. Here. And who come up with the idea of I? When was the first time that we have the sense of self implanted into our life? It's the moment that we're born, we come with the sense of self, right? It's me and my, me and my, me and my. If there's no me, then there's no my. Simple is that. Ordinarily being just like us, we just cannot just ignore that I don't exist, right? Because we have ignorance. That's why we cling on the sense of self so much. That's why we end up suffering. Give you a very quick example. I feel sad. My aunts die. My friends die. At the funeral, in that temple, there are 2 chambers that can burn the body at the same time. One chamber is for my friend. They just put the body in and they start to cremate the body, so throwing the fire and set up the fire and start to burn. And people standing there and cry badly, oh, you are a good man, you not deserve to die, and cry. I cry inside too. I feel bad, I feel sad about my friend, dying. And then people left the chamber. 5 minutes later, as I standing there, there's another dead body. People carry the body to the next chamber and put the body into the chamber, just right next to each other, and start to burn. So the first family left, second family came, and the same thing happened. They stand there and cry. As I standing there and look at the next family, I feel nothing. I don't know them. I don't attach to that person who died. So I don't cry for them. So attachment is because I know this person, I love this person, I care this person. So I cry for him, I don't cry for her. But I feel sympathy, I really, this is human being, we are so suffering and we don't know why we here, we don't know where we're from, we don't know the purpose of life. We continue to break precept, we die, we go to bad place and we come back, and the law of karma come back and hit our life like this. People just don't know that. I feel sympathy for that. But I don't cry for them because I don't know them. That's the keyword here of clinging. And the Buddha get to the bottom of this, why people cling. What caused us to cling? Okay, this is the idea. Okay. We born from point A, we continue to point B. We don't know how far we have come, but we know that we born, we get old, and eventually all of us we have to say goodbye. This is the natural suffering, unavoidable. It's common for all of us. We understand that whether you like it or not, you have to accept this. But this is another suffering. Is called occasional suffering, which we don't have the same. It's another level of another kind of dukkha. This is the natural suffering, and this one is occasional suffering. Suffering from job, from relationship, from health, from family, from work, whatever it is, which we don't have the same. Okay, your job is understand it, find way to release this balloon of suffering as much as possible, because you yourself already have in the this 5 aggregate is conditioned itself to be suffering because it's continue to decay, it's continue it's going to break apart one day anyway. So why give yourself more burden by holding on the thing that unnecessary? People are good at bring unnecessary suffering into their life. They're very good at that. So you need to check on yourself. And dukkha come from cause. The cause of dukkha is called samudaya, or the Buddha point to the word tanha. The Buddha point to the word tanha, this one. There is the kama tanha, crave for sense pleasure, bhava tanha, crave for becoming, and vibhava tanha, crave for disbecoming. This is quite a little bit difficult to understand, but let's see. If we related the word tanha to instinct, that help us to understand maybe a little bit clearer. Because in one teaching, the Buddha said, there is no love like the love of oneself. In other words, we love ourselves the most, because me, that is mine. Because we love oneself the most. And what caused us to love oneself the most? There is an instinct, right? When we were born, the nature gives us the instinct. There are 3 kinds of instinct. First, the instinct to have, that related to kama tanha. Second, the instinct to survive, to be survived. I don't want to die. I want to continue. This is called bhava tanha, the red one. And the instinct to destroy, something that I don't like, vibhava tanha, the green one. And the tanha related to the defilements. Okay, kama tanha related to raga or greed. Vibhava tanha, this one, violence, anger, related to dosa. And the bhava tanha related to moha, the delusion that cause us to cling on the sense of self. I, myself, I am. I don't want to die. I don't want to separate. I want this, I want that. I don't want this, and I don't want that. Because the world, which is us, we are lacks and hangers, and we are enslaved to thirst or tanha. That's the teaching of the Buddha. All of us, we are enslaved to tanha. Slave is quite strong, but it's very give us a very clear picture. We enslaved to tanha. There are many examples like this. 3 kinds of tanha. Kama tanha, I love you, I like you, I want you to be my girlfriend, my boyfriend. All of a sudden, a man meet a woman for the first time, feel like, oh, she is the one. Then he do whatever it takes to win her heart. He crave to have her as a girlfriend. And once he have her as a girlfriend, there's a bhava tanha to want to continue this relationship for a very long time. She is my girlfriend, not yours. She belongs to me only. She must be with me for a very long time. That's called bhava tanha. You want to secure that. You want to survive that relationship. And later on, you discover that, oh, she's not the one. I make a mistake. Now I want to get rid of this relationship. You want to destroy this relationship. It's called vibhava tanha. So I can free myself for another relationship. And then find another one, excited for a moment, and then get bored, and then throw it away. And find another one to replace it. This is the realm that we're living in. That's why the Buddha said, we are enslaved to tanha. The nature of human is just like that. Okay? And to remove tanha, the Buddha introduced the 3rd noble truth. Is called the nirodha, or the cessation. The cessation is the way to get rid of tanha, just to keep it simple, which not many explanation. At least there are 3 things that you can put into practice. Okay. Number 1, you can work with tanha. We call tathangka nirodha. You just think of something opposite. Okay, when you meditate and the mind have lust, thinking of sensualities, you can think of death, reflect on the ugliness of the body, the person will get old and it doesn't look good. Think of head hair, body hair, nail, whatever you learn, and then it lessens that feeling of lust. Then the mind can be calm and continue to meditate. That's how you deal with the tanha. And when you see something at the mall, you want to buy it, so you may reflect that maybe you don't need it. You think of this time, with the time of COVID, we should save money to buy food instead of buy the new iPhone or something like this. So the craving for those new phones fade away, but it's still there. When the situation getting better, you may come back and buy it later. But that moment, you don't buy it. Second thing is called suppressed to the higher meditative state or the jhana. Vikhampanat nirodha. This is a little bit difficult, right? When we in deep state of meditation, it doesn't give rise to any defilement or hindrances. The lust, the anger, the sleepiness, the doubt, the restlessness of the mind, it doesn't show up because you in that deep meditation state. Just like you put the stone on top of the glass, so the glass cannot grow. It doesn't mean they all, you kill them all, you remove them all. No, you just suppress it there temporarily. And once you remove the stone, the grass can grow back again. Okay, same thing. And the last one, samucched, by cutting off. This one, we need the advanced meditation skill to be able to develop that wisdom, and then we can see what's inside the mind and know how to remove all the defilement from the mind. That's what happened to the Buddha on the night that he achieved enlightenment. It's called asavakkaya jhana. The jhana or the wisdom, the knowledge that can help him to remove the defilement from his own mind. Okay, so when that happened, we realize Nibbana. There's no more defilement left. And now that leaves us to the last one called the Magga, the last item on the list of the Noble Eightfold Path. The Magga point to the Noble Eightfold Path, which composed of the 8th item on the list. This one, the right view or right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Okay, Luang Pi will discuss about this in detail again in the topic of the Noble Eightfold Path, but today it's more like an overview of the Four Noble Truths. If we group them into 3 groups, it helps us to easy to understand and easy to memorize. The group of wisdom, the group of sila, and the group of panya, the group of samadhi or concentration. The group of wisdom has two things, right view and right intention. The group of sila has 3 things, right speech, right action, 1, 2, 3, and the right livelihood. And the group of samadhi also have right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So all these together become the Noble Eightfold Path. Right intention or right view follow, right? With right view first, then right intention follow. You have view toward life, ordination is good, your thinking follow, I want to become a monk. Observing precept is good, then your thinking follow, how can I observe precept? So view first and then intention. When you have view and you have intention, then your behavior follow. It becomes the sila. Sila is behavior. What you say and what you do follow from what you think, and what you think follow from what you understand. It's become your action. Action come after your thinking. Your thinking come after your philosophy, your will toward your life. That's how it works. And the last one, the last group is called samadhi. This is the group of samadhi which contain the right effort that we just mentioned earlier. Effort to prevent the bad thing from happening, to abandon bad thing that already happening, to cultivate good thing in our life, and to maintain, secure that good thing that we cultivate. So that's the idea of the right effort, to continue to make an effort. And right effort to me is the heart of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right effort support everything. Right effort support right view, support right intention, support right speech, support right action, support right livelihood, support mindfulness, and support right concentration. Why did I say that? Because today you may have a right view that, okay, Dhamma is good, and your thinking follow, I want to study Dhamma. And 3 months later, your view may change. If you hang out with the wrong crowd, your friend drag you off the path of Dhamma, let's go shopping, exercising, eating, partying, then your view had changed. Oh, study Dhamma is such a waste of time. So with having the right effort in place, you will make an effort to keep coming back to the Dhamma path, no matter how temptation of your mind that want to go to the party, to go travel, to go buy stuff, you will make an effort to come back. That's the importance of the right effort. And then right mindfulness, right? We just learned the Satippatthanana. This point to mindfulness to the body, to the speech, to the body, to the feeling, to the mind object, which the Buddha explained in that sutra that we just learned. And then the right concentration. This one, the Buddha talk about what is mean by right concentration or Samma Samadhi. That's the idea of the Noble Eightfold Path. So in this picture, it summarizes everything. Whether you're a monk or the lay person, or you're a monk or the lay person, we walking toward the path toward Nibbana to develop ourselves according to the teaching of the Buddha. This is the short format of the Noble Eightfold Path. It's shortened into 3 groups. The group of what? This one. The group of Panya, the group of Sila, the group of Samadhi. And here we go. The group of Sila, the group of Samadhi, and the group of Panya. If we develop ourselves according to this framework, we will realize Nibbana one day in the future. And not only that, as we walk down this path, we will be happy every day because it is noble, right? It's a noble path. It's the path that distance us away from the bad thing or the defilements. You will start observe precept, you start meditate, you start making donation, you start chanting loving kindness from the moment that you walk down this path. So you become a better person, a happier person every day as you walk down this path until the day that you realize the ultimate destination or the Nibbana. Okay? So I hope I'm not too much overwhelming you with all this information. So today we complete, okay, the Dhamma group 4, 4.1 to 4.4. Please go back and relearn, catch up, or reflect on what you learned, okay? Because next week we're going to move on to the Dhamma group 5. And that's give us, like I said, 5 more weeks to go before we finish this elementary level for the second semester. Okay?